Good morning, guys. It's Goose back in action. Welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and Goose. Good to be back. I heard Ricky held down the fort on Friday, did amazing. Great job, Ricky.
Thank you.
And just to remind you guys, stocktraders.net, we're a leading online trading community. We got free trading rooms there, tons of widgets. For our premium members, we have, beautiful discounts on things. Hope you guys have come there and check us out. And just as important, anything that we cover in our stock talk here this morning, you could join the free trading room there and send any of us a message, or any of the instructors a message, asking us what we're talking about. So please go there and join. Just want to remind you guys that nothing what we're talking about this morning is any type of solicitation. All we're doing is sharing our ideas and our thoughts on a few different names. You guys do your own homework. Don't follow us, and make sure that you guys are trading within your means, not what we're looking at. Lastly, just one more thing to touch on is we're not trying to show you 20 ideas. Rick and I were actually talking this morning. Some days it's a little bit harder because there's a lot on watch. That we have on watch doesn't mean that we're hitting everything right out of the bell. So have that in mind. We're not trying to share 20 different ideas. We're just throwing you a few different ideas a piece, and not trying to inundate you, always looking at quality and making sure the setups are there. So with that all being said, I'm going to shoot it over to Ricky. I know he's got a couple good ones this morning, and I'll be back with you guys shortly.
Thank you, Goose. Hey, everybody, it's Ricky Analog. Thank you for joining us. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Welcome back, Goose. Missed you, buddy. First thing on my list today, NIHD. Now, this was free money, in my opinion, on Friday. All I had to do was open up the filings, and I would have known. They're literally out of time to get their minimum bid over $1. And I know many companies fail at maintaining that price requirement, even when they know they need to. But if you look at the funds that are holding positions in this and the size of their positions, there's a lot riding on this. Those funds need one of two things to happen. Either they need to save this turd so they can continue to hold while possibly plotting on creative ways to get this thing to run, or they need a big pop to get out of those positions. Either way, the writing was on the wall. But I also think it's still in play today. If this thing shows strength off that one level, I will look for a long setup with the stop somewhere just under 1. If it can get an obvious extension, that's the key word, obvious extension from 1. And I mean obvious, not just 20 or 30 cents. I may start to look for a short play on it. But as of right now, you can see it's showing that it is strong off that 1 level. I'm looking for a second day continuation type play on this thing. I don't think it's done yet. So that's what I'm looking at on NIHD. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I get these tickers all jumbled. Anyway, next thing on my list is HTBX, and as of right now, it's really not quite in play yet. They're a recent reverse split, putting the float just shy of 4 million shares. They need cash, and they're most likely running out sometime around March. So maybe they can get a push today. And if they do, I'll start to be interested in around the high 3s to low 4s. But it may be one of those plays that comes to fruition in the coming days. Regardless, it's going to be on my watch in case it does get those legs. Last on my list today is MOMO. This thing had a big move on Friday based on news that I didn't think was all that great. They spent over $600 million to acquire a Tinder replica. Now, however, price is showing me that my initial bias on this is not in agreement with the market. Therefore, I'm going to be watching for this thing to show some continued strength for a second day continuation play. You can see that it broke this key level on the daily chart. It was just over 35.50-ish. So it's kind of breaking out, and it also reclaimed that 200 SMA. So I'm going to be watching for it to show some support off the 35 and do a nice little red to green move on it. This name will have plenty liquidity, so you won't have to worry about being able to get some size on it. Now, it's been a pretty slow pre-market for me. I'm also going to just be watching the news heavily, and also TurboScan, which is our proprietary scanner that we use over at StockTraders.net. If y'all don't know about it, you need to know about it. Come on over and check it out. But I'm happy to have my co-host Goose back today. So without further ado, Goose, show me what you're looking at.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ricky. Appreciate it. Great job as always. Yeah, I was out on Friday, missed that NIHD thought, but yeah, good thoughts on that as well. Again, just to clarify, I just want to make sure you guys know everything that we are throwing up on here. A lot of times, we're waiting on the setups, and you know what I mean by reversals or double tops, and things like that. So just have in mind, everybody terms things differently. But I'm going to start off with quad, and I'm going to talk about this for a sec. Quad, to me, it's getting a bit overextended. RSI is getting up there. I see the action, how it traded on Friday, and it was a clear trend. But what I'm looking for is see if it wants to stuff this 31.20 or 31.30 level again. And if it does, what I'm talking about for a reversal, just so you guys know, is pretty much a double top. Maybe the push is with some volume and not clearing that. Then I would look for that lower high, and then to come back down. And what I'd be looking for, I think it'd be the start of a decent retrace. Obviously, if the market's ripping today and continues on, it might not be today, and it might make new highs today, and it's just nothing. It'll stay off my radar. But when I see these huge extensions like this, I do look for the reversal on this. And right now, it's kind of setting up. I got two highs that are real close to each other. If it wants to do it again today, maybe I get that fade down to 29.50, 29, somewhere in that area. So that's what I'm looking at on quad. I do like the possibility of a setup there. HPQ. This is another nice one. It jumped up on some upgrades. It was actually up pre-market up in this 32.75 area. But what I'm looking at, I've talked to you guys about this before, is this prior support level is now a resistance, right? And you see how it hit it on Friday. Kind of came right up to that level and shoved back. But if I see it push up in there again, I'm definitely looking for a fade off this 23.30 area. I'd love to see it get up there. Not sure it will, but even if it makes a nice little push and starts to, again, in my eyes, a double top or a lower high, still might fade it for a look down in that low 22s area. So as long as my entry's up by 23, I could see fading it for 75 cents or $1 or something, but it's got to set up right on that one. So I'm just going to continue on, and that's HPQ. I'm going to go over to WYNN for a second. WYNN is an interesting one to me, and I'm not sure it's ready yet, but I still like it. And the reason I like it is, first of all, I mean, look, it had a beautiful trend on Friday all day long. You could have bought the dips, and it just kept going. I see where it's hitting. Obviously, the 50-day, you'd say, why would I buy so close to the 50-day? Because I kind of feel like it's getting ready to reclaim that and reclaim the 170 for another push up towards 180. I like the way on the daily this chart is lining up. I'd love to have better entry and have it fade back down. But if the market's strong today, I'm going to look for joining a trend, reclaiming that 170 and a push on 171, 172. I think there's decent range in this name, and it could happen. But if there's a clear trend like you see in here, just all day long, you could have drawn a line on this thing and just traded it off every bounce and just traded it, using VWAP as a guide or whatever you want to use as a guide there. So I really like this. This idea. I'm not sure it's ready for its big breakout $4 or $5 move or anything like that, but it is setting up on the daily to me, and the trend is definitely working. I talked about it when it was way over here. I said, listen, this is to me, it's going to be short-lived. I know with the Steve Wynn situation and all that, but I do feel like, fundamentals are going to set in on this company, and I think it's going to start moving back up north again. And even at the beginning of the year, I'd commented to our room, we were talking about, I think it was a really good, strong Barron's article about the gaming industry and things like that. So I think, I think that industry alone could be pretty decent. So I'm looking at buying opportunities on this. Any kind of pulls would be great, but I'll just look to join a trend, and this will be a name I'll definitely be going to today, I think. Obviously, market being good for it. NXTD, I'll try to keep this one short because this is actually an interesting one. To me, this has, a real clear level. Let me drag this back a little bit, of these prior levels, which is around $4. You can see it's already kind of tested that area pre-market. So now what I have is I'm going to draw some lines, at the open, from what pre-market highs are, where it held, what a retrace would be for me, which is what I'm going to use as a prior close, and the pre-market highs. So, just looking at that, I'll, even draw them with you right now real quick. So let's go to pre-market, and the prior close on this was 218. So I'll drag it down to this 218 area. And I'll use some specific levels. 50% retrace is going to be around $3. So if it wants to wash down, to $3 or in this area, I'll entertain a bounce. But as far as if this wants to push back up on here and get shoved again, I really like it on the daily, trading it off this 4. And I didn't think it would get this much legs, because I feel like this name, every time they try to get some oomph to it, it's been stuffed. So I already have a borrow on it. I'll be looking for a fade on it. And But again, I want to remind you guys, this is like, if these names get active again, I mean, let's not make the same mistakes we've made in the past and get in front of them. I mean, look, if it wants to clearly hold, a retrace level and clearly hold 330 or $3 and turn and just grind here for a little bit, be prepared for that leg back up. Everybody wants to short this name. So just let's not be naive to what's happened in the past. Let's be smart about it. If the setup's there and you feel like you have protection and it's staying heavy, then the fade will be there, and that's what I'll be looking for. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you guys have a really good day. I'll be on my toes today, trading a little cautious since I had Friday off. I always like to keep it safe when you come back from a day off. And we will chat with you guys bright and early tomorrow. I'll send it over to you, Ricky, to take us home.
Thanks, Goose. Great to have you back. Like NXTD, probably would have talked about it myself, but that thing's on threshold for almost everyone. Kind of upsetting. But everybody, as always, make sure you have a plan. Trade that plan. And if you don't have one, stay out of the trade, guys. Come see us over at StockTraders.net. As always, we're willing to help, be there for you guys, give you guys advice where we think we can, show you our perspectives on trades. And hopefully we see you guys over there. Until then, play it safe. Let's crush it.